Hey everyone, welcome to our January, albeit a little bit late, Hugs for Love class. This is my monthly card class, and I have switched it this month to a subscription basis. So you subscribe to the card club, and if you are subscribed for 6 months consecutively, then you get a gift from me, which is really nice. I was having folks kind of popping in and popping out of my monthly card classes, and also people forgetting it some months. So having a subscription helps you because then you won't forget it. So I'm really excited about this. This month we are doing Hugs for Love, and I've just been late in terms of like taping and getting everything done. Let me show you what we're gonna do for next month. So for the month of February, and my goal is to have you go ahead and subscribe by the 12th of the month so that I can then try to shoot to get everything out the last week of the month. So my goal is to have things getting in the mail by 20th to 24th. But we're gonna do everyday arches for February, so I'm excited. The dies are just arch dies. The stamp set's gonna be pretty crucial. I'll try to pre-cut as much as I can for you, as always. But you can definitely add on the bundle if you want to. Just let me know if you wanna do that. I do have one packet left for this month's class, and it is $40 for the packet. Because when you subscribe, it's a little bit cheaper. And then if I have any kits left over at the end of the month, I'm happy to try to sell them. But I need to be able to, cover my costs and stuff. So the packet includes half a pack of this paper, which is no longer available. Did not know that when I was planning the class. And then some of the gold heart sequins and the gold twine and the white woven ribbon, which is really pretty. And then 4 card packets all prepped for you. And the 4 cards are hopefully something that you can continue to make more of. I'm also each month committed to doing a fun fold. So one of the folds each month will be a fun fold, which is exciting. For this month, Hugs for Love has a coordinating, it's a bundle. So you always get the 10% off for a bundle. And then I picked just some really basic kind of pinks and reds for stamping. Honestly, I think it's a little hard to tell the difference between some of them. So, go with whatever colors you have. The Flirty Flamingo one's probably the most obvious. I'll show you that one. But, all right, so we're going to get going. So I'm going to put this over here, move a few things out of the space. All right, so the first card we're making is relatively simple, and it's actually a card that I made with my seniors this month, and they loved it a lot. And the reason they loved it is that it was simple and didn't involve, anything too complicated. There's a couple of ways that you can manage it. You can glue the paper just straight on. These strips are, I think they're 1 1/4. They're 1, well, yeah, 1 1/2. That's what they are. So they're 1 1/2 inch strips. And what's cool about them, I have a whole bunch of them cut here, is that it doesn't really matter what paper you cut them from. They're gorgeous and they're going to look good. Some of them have more of the veining, which I do think looks cool if you use that sheet. Some have more splatters, and then some have more of this kind of like scattershot texture on it. So I'm trying to keep, those together versus like the ones that have kind of the veining on them, which is a nice look. So you can go through, and there's another one with the little sparkles on it. There we go. All right, so I'm going to pick a couple of these, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this. So you can just glue them straight on, but if you have the stamp set, you can actually stamp in real red on real red, and you get a nice little pattern in the background. So then you can take your pieces and let's see, I'll do some of And what I like about this is that you don't really have to, they don't have to match up, which is great. There's nothing, you know, nothing needed to match on this. We're just gonna use our glue. And I like when you stamp on the background, it gives it a little bit of extra texture and dimension, but you don't have to be perfect. The other thing I like to do is I like to start on one side, make sure my edges are pretty equivalent, you know, top, bottom, and right. Then I'll do the other one. So I'll do the right and then I'll do the left. Again, making sure that everything looks pretty even. And then I put the middle one down because then it allows me to kind of center it. If I try to work from right to left, I always end up with not enough on one edge or the other. So try to space them pretty evenly. I need my foam folder in here. All right, perfect. And then, and I mean, you can't tell a major difference between the one that doesn't have the background stamped and does. It's not that big of a deal. We have some scrap paper somewhere here. Oh yeah, here we go. Good. All right, so for the for this one, I used the outline image that has the heart, and we're using real red. So the papers in this pack have a bunch of different reds and pinks and purples in them, but there's one sheet that has more red for sure, and that's the swirl one. So I felt like real red was the right, you know, color for that. And we're gonna do this one for making me smile. So one of the things that I noticed with the punch was if I have too much space here, it won't go down enough. Like it's kind of like, it's close, but it's not quite where I want it. So I just came in with my snips and just made sure that I was a little bit closer on the bottom. The other strategy I wanted to show you was sometimes when you're using a really narrow piece like this, I put a Post-it note on it. And what that does is it helps me to get it in here and align it a little bit easier, right? So I'm not having to fuss around and move it and touch it. The other thing you can do is you can use the putty end of your Take Your Pick tool, and you can use it to go ahead and like, okay, you know, I want to adjust it a little bit there. Perfect. And then if you punch some of that, that's okay, because you can just peel that off. That was a very solid and strong. I don't know, that's something weird on the edge. It's a really good Post-it note. So just a couple of strategies to maybe make your life a little bit easier when you're punching those shapes out of, you know, trying to get an exact measurement. Now for this one, I did not add any embellishments. You definitely could if you wanted to, that's up to you. I lined up the hearts kind of with this edge. So you could add a few of those heart sequins. I think those are really, really cute, the flat hearts. One of the reasons I like these is that they're flat, and so they're not going to impact mailing whatsoever. So this is a pretty easy, you know, easy card to mail. So let's add, we'll add some of this one. If I was going to add them, you know, I might just add it right on top. Hopefully I can get that to go away. That's cute. I bet I could just do the smaller one too. The smaller one fits better. We'll do the small one. Oh, let me use my little tool. I have it. I should use it, right? All right, let's put that guy back. And I'm going to use the little guy. Okay, so if you wanted to elevate it a little bit more, you could do that. But I think this card is gorgeous just as it is. Now, I did include a white piece for you, and I stamped the heart on my white piece in the corner. I felt like this card, unless you have like a gold or silver pen or marker, you're not going to be able to write on the inside. So you definitely need to, you know, have something you need to be able to write. And having a nice white piece. And I also feel like it finishes the card out really nice and it makes it look really nice. So, all right. So there we go. Card number 1 is done. Perfect. Now, that's fine. Card number 2. So in your packets, I included a piece of paper, and I think I even wrote at the top like for punching or something. So you have a scrap piece in your packet that you can use to make this. Card number 2 is this one, which is super cute. It features the eyelet 3D embossing folder, which is a really pretty embossing folder. And one of the reasons I did this is this paper is a lot, and so having something to block a little bit of it, I think is nice. It kind of breaks it up visually. So this one, we're going to cut a piece of the paper that I apparently don't have pre-cut for myself. Hold on. Okay. That's funny. You would have thought I pre-cut the piece for myself, but I did not. Okay, great. It's partially cut. And then I went ahead and did the embossing for you with the eyelet. So I figured that would make your life easier. And then we're gonna stamp this one with You and I Make the Best Team, which I think is a really cute sentiment. And we're gonna stamp it in Melon Mambo, which is a fun pink color, and it's the main color in this piece of DSP. So there's one that has mainly real red, and then there's one that has mainly Melon Mambo, and then there's one that has a lot of flirty flamingo in it. So that's why we're gonna kind of focus on those colors. But if you have Berry Burst or something else, it'll all work. So, okay. So I'm going to stamp, and I'm going to stamp a little bit lower this time since I know that I need to be lower. And You and I Make the Best Team. The good thing is if I'm upside down, I can just punch it and turn it the other way. Easy peasy. My Melon Mambo is very, very juicy. All right, so again, if I'm having issues placing this, I'm probably gonna grab this and try to move it around a little bit. If that doesn't work for me or I get frustrated, which happens a lot, I'm just gonna grab my sticky notes. I cut these just a little too narrow, and I think that's why they were having some issues, but it's okay. That's why I gave you guys a nice big piece to use. All right, perfect. So a little bit of blue on there, but not much. All right, so with this one, we're just gonna glue our piece of Designer Series paper down. I do really like this roses background, and I was going to use it. I ended up using all of the gold stuff. The gold was so pretty. I couldn't deny it, so I had to do the gold. All right, and we'll get our bone folder in here. And then we're just gonna glue the eyelet piece down. If you don't have an embossing folder, you know, some of these embossing folders I use over and over and over again. They're really standard, and they look good with a lot of different things. And so if you don't have a Stampin' Cut Emboss machine, I highly recommend you get one. Right now is the joining special, which means that you could actually get it for $99. It includes free shipping. I even think you have like maybe $5 extra that you could buy like some dimensionals or something with, maybe some Tombow glue. And then for this one, I did put a couple of the little dots because I thought they were little hearts. All right, easy. So I tried to do easier cards this month, partly because I felt like the paper did a lot for us. Now with this one, I also did put a white piece on the inside, and we can definitely, stamp the little heart. There's some other hearts in here too. This heart's really cute. Maybe we should get this heart out. We haven't stamped with him yet. There's a big solid heart. There's like a cluster of little hearts. And then there's this heart, which has like a little, has a little texture to him. I think we'll stamp him twice, and I think that's gonna be really cute. So we're gonna stamp him once, and then we're just gonna stamp again. What's nice about Melon Mambo, especially if you have a nice juicy one, is you can stamp and then stamp off, and it looks really, really cute. So I like that a lot. That turned out cute. And we'll go ahead and glue that. And then our card will be finished. Maybe. Maybe I can glue it. Maybe I can't. All right. Perfect. Uh-oh. The ink was a little bit wet and I got my thumb in it. Or maybe I got it from the ink. Oh, no, it's on here. Okay. Hopefully that's okay. It'll be fine. It's handmade. All right, so the third card also features the really, really pretty paper. So this one has some of the pinks and some of the reds in it. So let's see if we can find a piece that's gonna work for this one. I think it's more this piece, yeah. So it's the one that has more of the scattery look to it. And we're just going to cut a piece that's 4 inches wide. By 5 1/4. So for this card, I ended up using the So Swirly embossing folder and a really cute shape from the Greetings for the Seasons dies. So this is actually on the last chance list, and I think they're discounted. I love these shapes, and I'm very, very sad that they're on the last chance list. That means they're going away. Once they're gone, they're gone. One of the reasons I like them is they all have holes punched in them, so you can use them for tags, which is what I used them for this time. When you're die cutting and embossing, you're gonna die cut first, and then you're gonna emboss. If you emboss first and then die cut, you're gonna lose all the texture. It's gonna literally just flatten it right out. So really like using the Greetings for the Seasons dies here. And the embossing folder is one of these huge ones that we just started getting, the really large ones, and I actually could fit 4 of those tags in here at one time, so it was really efficient, and I enjoyed playing with that. So this card base is a thick white card base, and it is definitely going to want to do our bone folder on that. And then we're going to glue this down. What's nice about using the thick white is that you can tell it's just really substantial, and it's going to stand up nicely on the mantle. It won't fold, or buckle under a bunch of like layers. All right, so we've got our fun piece of Melon Mambo. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a piece of our white woven ribbon. And we don't need much, but there. And we're gonna go ahead and push it through together all at once. I'm gonna kind of fold it in half, and I'm gonna condense it to go through this tiny hole very carefully. We can trim the ends, so if it gets all messed up, don't worry. All right, so then we're going to stick that through the loop. I actually think I did a different strategy on that one. Okay, so I did a different, on this one I did a knot and a tie. So you can see it's kind of like loose there. With this one I did the weave through, which is fine too. You can pick which one you like better, you know. I hadn't done that one in a long time, so I thought I wanted to show that off, but all right. But this is too short to do that. You would need a little bit longer of a piece of ribbon. And then I am going to pop this up with some dimensionals because I want to feel and see the texture, and I kind of want it to stand out a little bit. And it'll still fit in the envelope and everything. All right, and then we're gonna send a big hug. We are going to use I want to use a different frame this time. So we're gonna use this frame. Maybe I was supposed to use a different frame on the last one. I don't remember. It's okay. There's a couple different frames in this stamp set, and so I always like to show off, you know, all the pieces. All right, so sending you a big hug. And I've been using this punch for a lot of other things too. I've really enjoyed the shape of this punch. I think it's a really nice one. So, all right. So, I think this one's wide enough that my little trick will work. Oh, that's a little off. Almost. Better. All right. There we go. And then I'm going to cut the edges of my dimensionals so that I get the most bang for my buck, right? And then we'll add a few of the fun little hearts on here. The good news is these re-stick pretty easily, so if you don't get them quite where you want them, and you could use take your pick tool too. But cool. All right, sending you a big hug. It's a cute one. Lots of texture on this one. I think it's a nice card. All right, so our fun fold card. When I saw this paper, I knew I wanted to feature both the outside and the inside of the paper because I think it's really cute. So when you're cutting this, you're gonna cut down, and I think I have one cut already. Oh yeah, this is the one I messed up, so this is a good one to use to show you what not to do. All right, so this is a, this piece of DSP is 4 1/4 inches wide, and you're going to keep it at 12 inches. And you're gonna score at, I always have to measure just to make sure, 3. Let me get my big ruler. So you're gonna score at 3, you're gonna score at 8, and then 11. Yeah, 3, 8, and 11. So then when you do that, you'll be able to have a flap that comes back, and you'll be able to then see, you know, both the outside and the inside. Now this one's been messed up, so it's got like weird extra fold lines and stuff. So I'm actually gonna get a fresh sheet. And the sheet I ended up using is the one that has the flirty flamingo kind of swirls through it. And I think I want, I don't know. Sure, let's go with this one. All right, so 4 1/4. So that's kind of our standard, you know, width for a card. And then we're gonna score at 3. And don't score very heavily, like score nice and light, because our DSP is thinner than cardstock, so you don't wanna like break it. So 3, 8, nice and gentle, and 11. I tend to be really heavy-handed, so for me, I have to keep reminding myself not to go too crazy. All right, and then we're going to fold this piece up. We're gonna fold this one here, and then this one down like that. Perfect. Now you can decide if you wanna go like this, and you want this to come down like the heavier piece, or if you want to fold up. I tend to fold up, but it's up to you. And I'm just gonna use my bone folder to just gently, you know, train those creases what I want. I am gonna use a little bit of glue to glue this flap down, because I think it helps the whole card kind of maintain its integrity. And then in your packet, you have 2 pieces in here. You have the inside piece, which in here, you'll see. So we're gonna glue this piece down, and if you wanted to stamp, you know, some hearts, you could stamp the little hearts. I really liked that little funny striped heart. I thought he was kind of cute. I wonder, I might stamp him again. Yeah, let's do some melon mambo. So I'm gonna stamp once and then twice. Cute. And then I'll do the same thing here. Once and then twice. Cute. All right. And then we're gonna need a different ink for the front. So adding this piece of white on the inside gives it a lot more structural integrity. So this will make the card, you know, feel more solid, because if not, it's just kind of DSP and it's a little bit flimsy. Okay, so then you have a circle. You'll see I use the gold thread here. So we'll wrap the gold thread a couple of times and tie a bow, but we're gonna stamp and punch this. So this is a little bit different in that we've got these little pieces. So I'm actually going to punch it first, which is a little different than what we would normally do. Maybe. All right. So I'm gonna punch it first, and I'm gonna put it on its side, which is also a little bit different. And then I've got my Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm gonna stamp a row of these cute little hearts on the bottom, and then I'm gonna stamp a row on the top, and then I'm gonna stamp the sentiment in the middle, all in Flirty Flamingo. Then we're going to add some dimensionals to the back here. Probably don't need a ton. And then we're gonna look and see where this would fall on our card, and I think we're not gonna need dimensionals. We don't wanna seal it closed, right? So we just wanna make sure that we put dimensionals like here and here, right? So kind of keeping ourselves above, you know, a certain area. I might put a couple extra just because I want to make sure it stays where we want it to stay. And then we're going to get our gold thread, which is here. So this is the gold twisted thread, and it's very fine. And it does fray a little bit, and if that bugs you, I would recommend that you, you know, you could use a lighter just to, you know, make sure it doesn't fray. All right, so we're gonna wrap this once and 2 times, and we're gonna tie a knot, and then we're gonna tie a bow. So I'm gonna tie a knot first, like a double knot, because this is kind of slippery and hard to work with, and so we want to make sure that we've got a nice tight double knot on here, and that looks pretty good. And then we're going to kind of shift it down where we want it, so a little bit over. Then I'm going to tie a bow, and I want it to be kind of sideways, so maybe maybe we tie a bow. All right, and I tied a pretty big bow. I was definitely, you know, wanting a nice big fat bow on the front. And if we don't like where it is, we can always kind of shift it down a little bit if it needs to go over. And we might not know until we get our piece put in place. All right, so we've got this, and we've got our piece. We'll just make sure, right? Yay, we did a good job. And then, yeah, maybe I do want it, you know, I think maybe that is a fine space for it, and I could always try to shift it back, although now I probably glued it down. So it is where it is. And if I don't like how the bow came out, which I don't think I do, I can always kind of, you know, alter the angle and see if I can come up with a better bow. Yeah, that's probably better. All right, I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. And the tails. Nice. Now I have a really cute card. So these are some fun ways that you can use up your DSP if you like to, like if you've got a lot of pattern paper and you're like, you know, I want to make a bunch of cards. This is a great way to use it up, because then, you know, you're going through, and you could do a 4-inch wide piece if you wanted to get 3 out of a piece. I like 4 1/4 because I think it fits our envelopes well. And so, you know, they're perfect. So let me know if you have any questions, but hopefully you enjoyed making these cards with me today. I am excited about this month's class, the Arches one. I think that the paper that it goes with it is really, really beautiful. And I'll actually show you that paper. The paper is called Everyday Skies. This is a new pack. So you'll get a portion of this, and then also a portion of the embellishment I'm using, which I cannot remember which one it is, but this is a really pretty paper, and the clouds in here are gorgeous. The night sky, you know, I feel like this one definitely looks like a deserty sunset. There's even some like darker ones and a really dark night sky. And then the reverse of these are just really pretty blues and purples and pinks and some nice, you know, neutrals that you could use. So really pretty paper, and I think it's going to be a gorgeous class. So I will put the link to subscribe down below because it's a different process than what I've used before for my classes. But yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm excited to kick off the series in a new way in 2025. And thanks, y'all. I appreciate it, and I will see you later. Bye.